I'm gonna bring
watch this.
a law.
A law.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
bring
am
a
the
law
law.
that probably people haven't heard about, and I think it's a little
Is it
interesting.
on the books?
It's on the books.
Is it bigamy?
It's on the books. Have you ever heard of the Onion Futures Act?
No.
No.
Not many people have. So let's talk about it, shall we?
I'm dedicating the rest of my life to getting this law overturned.
I don't
know what it does.
This might get overturned soon.
The future of onions are at risk.
Yeah.
This might get overturned soon, so we have to actually talk about what futures are, because this is a futures act. So
Oh, is this stock
And the
shit?
stock
this is
exchange?
stock. So do you know what futures are? Either of you?
I know you short them.
You could, yes.
It's the prediction of where something's going to be
In the future. So let's say
This is commodities.
let's say it's June when you're listening to this. We could trade the next month. We could trade July,
Okay.
right, or August. Like
Yeah.
we could buy something where we think it's going to be in November or
so I
December.
could be like, I think in July onions will be $1 a pound.
Right. They're 50 cents right now. I think they're going to be $1. I'll buy the futures of 50 cents or 75 cents. And if it goes to $1, I'll make a ton of money. That's how it works.
Okay.
It's gambling. And just like how you said, you could short something. You could also say,
You could bet against it.
I could bet against it. I could sell that future and buy it back at a later date. So it's not like stocks where you own it and then sell what you own. You could sell something that you don't have yet and then buy it back later.
So can I guess, is the Onion Futures Act tied in to the use of Shrek in movies? Because Shrek causes a spike in onion sales.
Every time it plays.
Which manipulates the market unfairly.
It's not
True.
too far off, but this is 1955.
So
there
yeah, it was about the
Yeah.
future of onions.
Kind of, yeah. So there was two onion traders. There was Sam Siegel and Vincent Kasuga. And they cornered...
Wasn't he allied to like Stannis,
What?
the Onion Knight?
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Kasuga.
They were traders on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
Okay,
the
Chicago
CME.
traders.
So there's the CME, there's Comex.
Now
and
you
then-
were a commodities trader,
I was, but I worked on NYMEX.
and you specifically only did magnets, right?
I specifically did magnets,
Only magnets.
only positively charged halves. I don't fuck with the negative charges.
Okay.
So
It's NYMEX.
NYMEX is the New York Mercantile Exchange.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
Gay.
In fact, fun fact, Chicago Mercantile Exchange was so big that in order to see across from it what somebody was saying, you needed binoculars because you use hand
like the
signals.
building itself was that big?
The pit. Like the
Oh,
pit
wow.
where people
Like where
stand
people are
in.
yelling?
Yeah.
And there's no rules in the pit.
That's what we
Right,
learned.
right.
Yeah. Like a wild Indian from outer space.
So what these
drunk and high on weed.
What these two men did actually caused the passing of this act in 1958, and it actually was amended in 2010 to include box office futures.
Like
Oh, so you
movies?
could bet on movies.
Mm. Well, you can't now. So, in the mid 40s, onion futures started trading on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
Onion like
It
the
became
vegetable.
huge. Yeah, it became huge. And now on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, there's a couple of other like things that are traded: dairy, livestock, like orange juice.
Chicago's a pig town. They're big on pigs.
Yeah, a
Are
lot of
they?
pork stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause of hot
but
dogs?
onions were huge. It accounted for 20% in 1955 of its trades, which is a massive
That's a lot,
amount.
yeah.
Like in the fall of 1955, our two heroes, Siegel and Kasuga, bought so many onion futures that they controlled 98% of the available onions in Chicago.
So they had a monopoly on onions almost.
But they don't
Millions.
actually have the physical onion.
Oh, they have both.
Why do they have all the onions?
I'll tell you why. They have millions of pounds of onions and millions of future contracts out.
Where are they putting them?
Storage. Oh, in fact, millions of pounds were shipped to Chicago to cover their purchases of these futures. By late 1955, they stored 30,
Put them on a brat.
30 million pounds of onions in Chicago.
30 million pounds of onions.
Is that the onion capital of the world at that point?
At this point, yes.
Abe
In fact,
Froman.
it affected. It
He's the
affected.
sausage king.
It affected not only like prices in the country but the world
Okay.
because it was so cornered, pretty much.
Wow.
They changed course in their plan. Instead of just buying these futures and hoarding them and controlling the market, they started convincing onion growers to purchase their inventory to stop the threat of flooding the market and dropping the price so the farmers wouldn't actually lose anything.
So are they manipulating the market?
They're manipulating the onion market with the physical product. Not only that,
Is that
they told growers, hold the rest of the inventory in order to support the price of onions, meaning, hey, buy from us. You could sell what you have to sell. You're not going to make as much. But as you keep your onions in stock, otherwise we're releasing ours and you're going to lose even more.
will flood the market and fuck you?
What's that's doing? It's growing the amount that's in storage and that's not getting sold. So
It's
price
onion
is
inflation.
still going down. Yeah. So as the growers are buying their onions, Siegel and Kasuga are buying shorts. They're shorting the market.
Because they know it's going to drop.
The market's going to drop. We'll make millions because we're going to flood the market.
Wow.
And it's going to
And this is legal what they're doing.
completely legal.
It's a
Completely
loophole.
legal. It's a loophole. Yeah. They also arranged to have their stores of onions reconditioned because, like, let's say they
Fist
started to
and ghoul.
spoil,
Yeah.
so that now it's just insane amount of stock, right? They started shipping them out of Chicago once they were clean and repackaged, and then having them reshipped back.
Oh, so they'd send them and send them back.
So now it looks like there's a ton of onions coming in, but the market is just consistent. So they're just hoarding it, right? What this did, that caused many future traders to say there's an excess of onions now because all these products are still coming in, and
no
the
one's-
market is still selling the same amount. So we have to sell them. We have to short this market. So all the futures traders started saying, yeah, this is a sell. Let's all sell this. Now the price is dropping insane.
And they're becoming useless.
Mhm. But they shorted the market, so they're making
They're killing
4
it.
to 5 times the amount they expected just buying it and just cornering it. So they flood the market and driven the price down of 50 pounds of onions to 10 cents a bag. So 50 pounds
Where
was now
was
50
it?
pounds
10
for 10
cents.
cents.
Where was it?
In August 1955, the same quantity was priced at $2.75 a bag
$2.75.
for 50 pounds of 50 pounds.
50 pounds of onions is an insane amount.
Yeah, but for restaurants.
But you're buying bulk, yeah,
Yeah.
for restaurants for
Yeah.
for whatever you need. So many onions
Too many
were shipped to
onions.
Chicago to depress the prices that there were shortages in other parts of the United States.
Now, how did the onion sales affect the slap chop market?
oh,
Must have been
because-
boom. Yeah.
it was yeah.
Because the
Booming.
onions,
How many tears were falling over all these onions? They get cut.
Oh, dude, that warehouse.
onions making you cry, making me cry. Use
Yep.
a slap chop, you're not going to be crying.
Do you know who Mansa Musa was? Did you ever hear that name?
Yeah, he was a Civ character.
He was a civic character. He was
That's
the,
how I know
he
him.
was the emperor of the Mali.
Okay.
You know, Timbuktu and all that.
Yeah.
He was famed to be the richest man who ever lived. When he went on pilgrimage to Mecca, he stopped in Egypt and just threw tons of gold out to people, crowds in the city.
Yeah.
he was making it rain.
Threw so much gold that he fucked up the entire global market
Yeah.
of gold and like dropped the price
Really?
insanely.
That's kind of what's happening here, right? So they made millions. Now in 1955, you're making millions. You're killing it,
That's a
right?
lot,
Like
yeah.
it's crazy for 2 people. But at one point, 50 pounds of onions were now selling for less than the bag that they actually held them in.
So they become worthless.
They become actually negative price, and the people who
Oh,
are
man.
actually producing onions start going out of business. All those farmers.
This is like when Reichmarks were
Mhm.
worthless.
Now a public outcry ensues, right? Because hey, we have a ton of worthless inventory. Farmers are now having to dispose these things, and they're losing their livelihood,
Mhm.
right? Well, that market crashes, right? Now there's regulatory action by the Commodity Exchange Authority. They launch an investigation, and they realize this cannot happen. They ban onions on the CME. You cannot trade onions anymore. It's not a publicly traded
just
commodity.
onions.
Specifically onions.
But couldn't you do this with anything?
Technically, yes, but it would be a
Theoretically.
lot harder to hoard. Onions are very easily stored.
Is that why?
I guess they
this-
don't go bad quickly.
That's
Maybe
what
I
makes
don't-
this
I don't
possible.
fucking know.
Right. Because like meat goes bad really
Right.
fast.
Yeah.
So does potatoes.
Right. Frozen
Potatoes
orange
go
juice.
bad fast?
Yeah, they start growing those fucking heads.
Oh, the eyes.
Frozen orange juice lasts a long time, but there's now rules against this. So you cannot do this. This is what the act actually did, and it had an impact that affects us today.
Did those people make get away with it? They're rich.
Well, a bill was released to actually
Sat on Capitol Hill.
because the
I'm
perishable nature of the onion made them vulnerable to price swings, like I just said. So the congressman, Gerald Ford of Michigan at the time,
Oh, is it
Yeah.
future president?
yep, he banned the trading of onions
Wow.
with this act, and it was passed. It was unpopular amongst
Did he
traders.
trip and fall?
I'm sure he did. That's what he's known
Yeah.
for.
And actually, President Eisenhower signed the bill into law. But the CME actually sued the government, and it actually went to the Supreme Court, but they denied him, and nope, the ban stays. That is why we can't trade onions. Now, fast forward to 2010. Since onions are not traded publicly, the price cannot be controlled by what the stock is, right?
Can't be tamed.
Can't be tamed.
Wild
So
onions
where-
can't be broken.
Wild onions.
So now onion prices are more volatile than corn or oil, and they're thinking to actually get this bill removed so that we could trade them again.
So can we start hoarding onions?
I think that's a good move. That's actually why I'm doing this. It's a pitch, really.
Yeah. Listeners, we need your help. We're going to upset the global economy. And the way we're going to do it, we need your help to buy onions.
He doesn't buy onions. He sells fucking
He supplements. Yeah.
supplements.
I don't know why that was the voice that came to me.
And that's why we can't trade onions on the CME, but we
Did you-
probably will soon.
Did you know this story from your days in the market? Or?
I did not, but
Was it like legendary? They're like, you ever
Yeah,
hear the
no.
story of Joe Siegel?
there are a couple of legendary things from that. From my specific building, there's two of them. If you're in coffee, sugar, cocoa, you're probably high stressed because those things move insane.
Okay.
And there's one market you do not trade, which is called the Widowmaker.
What's the
It's
Widowmaker?
it's a natural gas spread that when the
Okay.
seasons change, you do not go against that market.
Okay.
Well, people start using a lot more natural gas, so they don't use
Think
a
of
lot
your
natural
gas bill. It
Yeah,
goes
your
up
gas
in
bill.
the winter, down in the
So if you're
Ah.
buying like natural gas in going into the summer season, you're probably
You're gonna lose money.
you're probably gonna lose some money. And it's called the Widowmaker.
But if you can survive and hoard it to the winter,
You're good. But very rarely do people take deliveries on energy contracts. It's
Okay.
very rare. So
yeah, imagine you take a delivery, you have a bunch of fucking
it's
flammable gas.
it's happened. It's happened to the company I used to work for. So you have an expiration on the futures, and once you hit expiration, if you own that future, you have to make good on it. So let's say you're short a future,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
you got to come up with some fucking gasoline, or you have to find somebody on the other side and make a deal who's like, "Hey,
I will.
clearly you don't have gas. Clearly I don't have gas, but we have the opposite position.
Brian's
Let's
got a lot
just
of
squash it."
Oh, I do. I've been ripping ass all day.
But if let's say like you bought a commodity like today for next month, and next month goes and you don't sell that contract, you're probably gonna have to take delivery of like 1,000 pounds of something. You know,
Have you ever had like a container of like?
We thought about taking delivery on gold, and it was trading like 400.
That'd be cool if you had like
Yeah.
fucking gold bullions delivered to you.
Well, it would have been worth fucking millions.
Oh, yeah.
Like we would have went
Ingots.
back. I would have probably knocked out my clearinghouse.
Fort Knox is for
I would
tourists.
have been arrested or fired.
Yeah, Hans Gruber's
Definitely
like
fired.
attacking
Simon.
Steve. Simon, yeah. Simon Gruber's after Steve.
Yeah.
Steve's holding a sign. He's like, I didn't even give this one to you. He just has it.
You're hardcore.
But yeah, that's my story.
That was good.
Yeah, something interesting.
Lear-
Something
I
different.
learned
Something
something.
different. Yeah.